Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Miss Matlock again, and I just wanted to hop on and do a little read aloud with you guys. We're going to be reading the story of Ferdinand. The author is Munro, and there are drawings by Robert Lawson. So this story is about a Spanish bull, and so Spanish bulls are known to be fighting bulls, so they're not very nice. You guys went to my cow pasture last week with me to do a virtual field trip, and so I thought it would be fun to read a story about a cow, even though this cow's a little bit different than my cows. My cows are not fighting cows. So we're going to do a quick read, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Oh, and you can also take an AR test on this. The quiz number is 5493. Okay, so get on and take an AR test after we read it together. The story of Ferdinand. Once upon a time in Spain, so that's another country, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All of the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day long and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she just let him sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other. All day, they would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him. And that is just what that bee did to Ferdinand. What do you think's gonna happen? Wow! Did it hurt? Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing, snorting, butting, pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfight in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. What a day it was! Flags were flying, bands were playing. And all of the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderos with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick the bull and make him mad. See those little sharp things? That's what they use and poke the bull to make him angry. Next came the picadors, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bulls and make them more mad. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderos were afraid of him, the picadors were afraid of him, and the matadors were scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all of the lovely lady's hair, and he just sat down quietly and sniffed. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderos were mad, and the picadors were madder, and the matadors were so mad, he cried because he couldn't show off his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. And he is very happy. The end. So Ferdinand was supposed to be this big mean bull, and he ended up being super sweet and just liking to smell flowers all the time. I love that little story, and I hope you did too. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.